Not that I know of. I'm on the first name basis with my plumber. And we've done everything. We've put in, shower heads, we've changed the flushometers, we've done everything to try to, get our use down. I mean, back in '05, it was 1,700 a quarter. And then we did some work, it went to 14. It's 2000, 14 again, 18, the last one was 23 in the quad for the quarter.
How about the consumption level?
Well, the consumption level, if you want, you can take a look at this. It looks, we do have varying consumptions. Like back in '05, we were consuming 27,000 in the quarter. This time now we're consuming 25,000. So and that was 1,700, and this is 2,300. So, we're trying to get the use down, but the price is going up, and I'm just not able to keep up with it in a sense. So.
When you refer to pricing, is it combined water and sewer bill that
Yes,
you're
it
referring
is.
to?
Yes, I am. Yeah. So obviously, got concern to run our rooms. The city just was paying 1.4 for 7 rooms. I have 58 rooms. We never got even close to $1 million in that. But I still have to charge. We're very close to $500 a month for a single room. That's a lot of money. But it, the price, it's there. We've got heat, electricity, water, sewer, furniture, trash removal, insurance. All of this adds up. And this is a $500 bill. It's a $2,000 bill for the year, and it's beginning. It's another buck and a half on the weekly rate. And I'd appreciate it if you'd be aware of that. And the other thing is, two things that kind of I hear, and I don't know whether it's the case, and I don't know the particular things, but I hear that the water proceeds of buying the rolling stock for the city, and now they're going to buy a garage that's partially used by water, not completely. So that when you get a $500 bill for a quarter, and you're trying to keep your prices so that your customers can afford it, and they're the group that at least can afford it, it's kind of a squeeze. So here I am. And I think that's about all I have to say.
I appreciate your comments. And just for point of clarification, I think it's not 10%, but just 9.02% increase in the water.
Okay.
Something, just to be clear about that. But I appreciate your comments. And also, only 50% is coming from the enterprise funds for the new building. So, little bits, but
Yeah.
makes a difference.
Well, I compared this bill to, people that I know in town, and it's pretty consistent, the amount of
We're
so
not
I can't
asking you.
complain that I'm paying more than
Okay,
someone
good.
else per cubic foot.
But thank you for sensitizing us to this. I think it's important that we think about that.
Well, thank you for listening to me.
Excuse me, can I ask one, have you gone as far as doing a per capita use?
Well, I've got, basically it'd be 60 people, so we've got 25,000 square feet in a quarter, so whatever that, it'll just.
25,000 cubic feet of water?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
in 1 quarter, so.
Yeah, 60 people, that's it.
It matches with, if you take 2
With-
people in a household and they're paying 110 a quarter, it pretty much matches
Okay.
up. The use is consistent with what I found when I investigated.
Yeah.
A few people were willing to give me
So your clients
bills.
are taking an unusually long shower.
No, some of them don't shower at all. Or they shower at work.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Can I just ask a question now? The process though, you set the rates, so there's no way to go back and reset the rates, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, so, but you could have a line out the building of people complaining and it won't matter, right?
Well, it would be important to listen to that, it'll affect us next year.
I think we can reset the rates.
Oh, can we set the, oh,
Sure.
I see.
Okay.
We control the rates.
And
But you
Mimi,
set
you
the
wanna
budget
tell
for
us
the
what
year,
your,
based on those rates.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you.
Much lower than.
so it would be a process if it's already gone to City Hall, so,
Alex, just,
yeah,
just
just
being,
clarify.
yeah.
Mimi, in your,
North Street
building-
Neighborhood Association.
North Street Neighborhood Association. Okay, so we need a proposal to take another item out of order.
Item number 2. I
Deb,
propose we take
is
out-
everybody in agreement to take?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Deb?
A number of the civic associations have gotten together and are interested in improving the gateways to the city. We're getting some great supports from Smith Folk, and I understand that the chamber and the bid would be willing to help us in terms of some kind of funding. When it comes to that, I had sent an email to Jim asking about what the regulations, what the ordinances are around signs. And we don't want to get excited about doing something and then have the kibosh put on it because we didn't do our homework. I understand that you have a sign ordinance that you're maybe working on.
It's enforced by the building commissioner.
I think Deb's referring to the tourism
Tourism
policy.
sign.
Right, and I'm not exactly sure, you know, I think one of the things, we've just started meeting, so we're just getting going, but a number of people have mentioned how much they like the sign welcoming people to Hadley when you go over the bridge, and that comparable kinds of signs would be great. I, because I work in the hill towns, get to go through Williamsburg every day, and I get to see how beautifully landscaped it is. They have someone who just takes a tremendous amount of time and effort, but then I get to Leeds, and it's not quite so welcoming. So we've listed a number of the gateways into the city, and in fact on Saturday we're taking a bus tour so we can look at them and get a sense of what they're like and what we'd like to do. But we really want to know would that type of a sign come under tourism, and what we would have to have. I mean, obviously readability, durability, low maintenance. I don't know that low maintenance is not a misnomer for almost everything, but something that wouldn't end up costing a lot of money in upkeep.
Are there, I want to come to staff, but I have questions. I guess Jim. Are you intending to maintain the signs, or you're just intending to start the
We
project?
haven't even gotten that far yet. I think that there's a number of reps that are meeting, and then we have to go back to our civic association. So we have to bring everything, back to them and see what they're willing to do and to, provide upkeep for. But I would assume that, we're all very aware of the, financial constraints, that the city's under currently. So I think that we want to be pretty careful about what we do.
Jim?
Well, I was just gonna say that I agree with you. I think the signs at the entrance to the city are a disgrace. Back when they were doing the 350th celebration, they were gonna do something about those signs, and it never came to fruition. I applaud your ambition, believe me. But if I were to start a project like that, I think I would start it right with the building commissioner and with Ned and Jimmy to see what's allowed for all those signs. But that's where the start has to be. and the building commissioner has a pretty good set of rules for signs.
Deb should also recognize that there are, almost all the entryways into the city are mass highway layouts, and that's controlled by Mass Highway, the signage and work that goes on in there. So when you look at coming into Leeds, let's say on Hagenville Road, until you get to the Clementines, that's state highway layout. So we have no jurisdiction beyond that point going to Williamsburg. Same with all the major roads coming into the town, they're all state highways and they plow them and maintain them. So you would have to work with Mass Highway
Okay.
in those particular projects, probably as a DPW being in sponsorship with you on that.
Well, that's why I'm here to, you know, get all that information, so.
Okay.
Any more information?
I just wonder if it helps if, Deb, if the neighborhood associations came up with a little plan of proposed locations, and then we could review it and figure out what the applicable route would be to get the permit for it. I don't know if it would be tourism signs, or talking to Mass DOT, or it depends on whether it's private or public land, I suppose.
Yeah, we've always viewed tourism signs as signs for businesses and not necessarily a village that you're entering. So if we wanted a point for Clementines, we would call that a tourism sign rather than I should say destination sign.
I just wanted to concur with Jim's statement about, I really think it's an incredibly important thing for us to do. I mean, the first sign you've seen of Northampton coming in is scolding people about where to park or where not to park.
Yeah.
And we have these beautiful signs over in East Hampton. I haven't seen one in Hadley. But I've always thought that it's an important initiative that really announces that you've arrived here and that we should work to support the effort.
Anybody else on the board have any other comments? So I think that's a great idea if you can put together a proposal and we can then all be aware of what each other's doing. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna go out and look at, you know, the Smith folk is providing the school bus and
Yeah.
have a field trip and go and look at the different locations and see what seems feasible to us and make a proposal from there.
Jim has another comment.
Yeah, I think my next call, Deb, if I were you, I'd be calling Louis down at
Okay.
building commissioner.
Yeah,
And just touching base with him.
yeah.
You know, he may have a revelation that I'm not even thinking of.
Well, I think zoning, doesn't zoning,
Size of signs.
governs the design of signs, the size and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Any more comments for Deb to help her out?
No.
Okay. Sure.
Thanks,
Thank
Deb.
you.
I just wanted to say one more thing. I hope to see all of you on Friday when I'm giving out whips at the trolley barn.
Whips?
Whips are, well, they're
Jump.
very small trees. They're,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I thought they came with handcuffs.
No.
No.
And we're giving out, the DPW has purchased the trees and I'm, as a friend of the tree committee, I'm helping giving them out. And they are sugar maple. And the other is also a native tree called amelanker. It's also known as serviceberry. And my favorite name for it is shadbush because it blooms when the shad run. It's got a lovely white flower. It's a small tree. And berries that you would love to eat, except that the birds would probably beat you to it. And I hope to see you there.
And that's different than the tree distribution that's
Yes,
happening
it
on
is.
Saturday.
Yes, it is. Those are good sized trees that people had to sign up to get a tree. These are the whips that DPW's been giving out since before the tree committee ever came around. Dave Lucy and Rich Parasoletti used to.
And you
get
don't have to
them
take a class to get one.
No, you don't.
You do on
It's
Saturday?
a workshop, it's not a class.
All right. Well, thank you. And
Yeah,
thanks for your help.
Good luck in your project.
Thanks. Item number 1, landfill enterprise budget update.
So we had one change to the landfill budget since the last time that we met to approve the budget. And it happened mainly, Ned has determined that the original landfill budget, and that would be the draft budget in this little set of paperwork, we originally put the budget together with the expectation that the landfill would close. The landfill would close on June 30th, but Ned believes that the capacity could last beyond that date. So the original draft had a transfer, a free cash transfer into the landfill closure fund to sort of close out the anticipated expenditures at the end of the landfill's life. Because it might continue to go on, so that would be on your draft sheet. There's a line item for free cash transfer, and you see that the landfill closure fund is at $5 million. If the landfill goes beyond June 30th, it would be a better position for us to have money in the undesignated fund balance or free cash, because we're not going to actually close the landfill at that particular point in time. The other thing that happened after we met was that the city went out to issue the bans for the $1.2 million purchase of the property out at the landfill. And the portion that was attributable to the Park Hill Road portion, because it was sold, we couldn't ban for that. So that had changed the amount that we will have to buy back at the end of the landfill's life. So that amount is going to have to be, it won't be rolled over, it will have to be closed out immediately, and then the only portion that will be rolled over and closed out as part of the landfill closure is the $650,000 that's attributable to the other property that was purchased. So because of those two changes, it really just affects free cash and the landfill closure fund. I have the total amount remains the same, but we just had to make that little adjustment for those two reasons.
We just wanted to bring this to your attention as something we had to do is they were going through bonding for a $13 million bond for other city projects that were ongoing. And it was kind of a forced play at the last minute that we didn't have time to bring this to the board. We made the changes with the finance director, Chris Pyle. We approved them with the mayor, and we just wanted to bring this to your attention.
Any comments or questions for him, Maureen?
So we don't need a motion to modify the budget that we approved?
Well, you approved the budget as presented. This presentation varies slightly. Like I said, it was a shift between undesignated fund balance and the landfill closure fund. It does affect the expense total because I took the capital transfer out, the total amount that was transferred to the landfill closure fund. So you can see that line item is now just the ordinary $752,146 that we always transfer into the closure fund. So I suppose you could approve as revised, if that's...
I make a motion that we modify the approved fiscal year 2012 DPW budget, or landfill enterprise fund that was submitted to the city with this updated this revision.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks, Emery.
Thank you, Anne Marie.
You're welcome to stay, we're gonna discuss bag colors.
Any motion to, Karen is here, and, oh, yes,
I
sir.
just have a question.
Yes,
How are we coming with the discounted trash fees? You know,
The amount going into the landfill
Tonnage.
I don't know.
at this time.
The change in tip fee went in place, what, a couple weeks ago?
50.
but I wondered if it was picking up any volume.
Update.
They give you an update next meeting.
Is this item number one under old business?
that is item number one under
I
old
move we
business.
take it out of order.
Second. All right, any opposed? Karen?
First, I don't know if you all saw this, but this came out in the Gazette last week, and it was one of our projects. So I encourage you to take
Oh,
a
yes, I
copy.
did.
and pass
Bring
it
another
on.
one off to the white.
So there's actually two things I was going to talk about. One is a proposal to have user fees for the food waste collection program. So I'm just going to
So item number 1 and 2 under old business.
So currently we have about 350 households signed up We're coming up to a year anniversary. It started in mid-June last year. Obviously, it's been a free pilot program, and all the participants are used to using these sign-in cards. They have the attendants sign them as they come in to drop off their food waste. So what we're proposing basically is to charge $5 for these cards, which would mean that every time they dropped off food waste, it would be the equivalent of 25 cents. You know, and then they would replace the card as needed. I actually forgot to bring the whole spreadsheet that shows that we believe that this will fully cover the cost of the program going forward.
So the idea here was that we had this pilot program going, and we, Karen was pretty aggressive in getting it off the ground. We were offering free containers and free service and everything, education to get folks to enroll in it. We've been doing it for about a year, I think, pretty highly successfully. Now we have a year before the landfill closes and the enterprise fund is going to sort of shrink up. So we decided it would be a good time in July to start implementing a fee for service type program to see how that would impact the number of users. We've got 350 families at this point that are using it. So based on what we've seen for cost, Karen's estimated that this $5 per card should cover our cost, but this will give us, we've got 12 months to determine whether the $5 a card is going to cover the cost, and also whether some folks are not going to want to pay for the service and then drop off, which will impact what the fee structure would need to be to move forward. So it's really sort of the second phase of this pilot program to see exactly how it's going to work on a fee-for-service type of basis. So that was the next step.
Yeah. And there are some advantages rather than, charging a set fee per year, because we are finding that some people who do backyard composting will go back to that during the season. And, may come back in the winter. And, there's all kinds of variations. This allows a lot of flexibility for people.
What is the incentive for the average person to get involved in this program?
Well, we actually did a survey as a requirement for signing up. And the motivations are to keep waste out of the landfill, to save money, because it's too good to. They recognize that food waste is too good to throw away, that it could make a valuable product.
It does when you throw it away. It makes methane gas.
They don't see it that way.
Oh,
And a lot of people can't compost at home, either because they're in an apartment building or they don't have land, or so it's an alternative for people who can't do your backyard composting.
but there is no, and I'm saying this out loud so that I know whether I'm right or not. There's no reason why you can't throw your garbage in with your waste and dispose of it by the bag at whatever the bag price is.
That's right, you can still
That-
throw away
well,
food
that's what I'm
waste.
saying.
Yes, it's a.
I'm trying to find an incentive for this.
Well, and there's no limit though, the amount that you can compost. I mean, it's not just that bucket. If you had more than the bucket, you could still compost that, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right now we allow people to use their own containers. We did supply a 2
2.5 gallon.
2.5 gallon container. And most people accepted those and are using those, that quantity. But
That was free.
it was free, yeah.
And now we're gonna start charging $5.
Right, and part of the survey was how much, it was right up front that this was a trial program.
Okay.
And we asked them how much they would be willing to pay per month, and it ranged, it was all over the map.
Yeah.
Some people said $5 a month, some people obviously didn't know, but between the survey and talking to people out there, we think this is a reasonable.
Well, that's okay, as long as there's no requirement that they have to go this way. People can make their own decision.
do you anticipate that there might be even an increase? Because if you're July 1st, you're starting with some new processes, and you go, oh, I can do composting for $5 all year long?
Plus, we're starting the pay-to-throw bag system,
Yes,
which will
right.
get people thinking about how they can reduce their
Right.
waste and reduce their costs.
But if it does increase, is the capacity able to be absorbed by the people that are?
We can add more carts and we can add another pickup. So there's flexibility to expand. Also, this is in response to a task force recommendation to continue the program and also to expand the program, which we looked into what it would take to expand it to the landfill and felt that we should really prove the efficacy of it here, and that it could be self-sustaining here before we expanded it to the landfill.
Any more questions?
Do you have any sense for how frequently people make drop-offs?
Usually when they bring their trash, so it's like once a week or once every 10 days or whatever. There are some people, there actually 20% of the participants bought a vehicle permit just to participate in this program, and they're not using our trash and recycling system because they have, trash at their apartment or subscription services. So they would come as needed, but I think the average probably is once a week.
So would you like a motion?
Don't need a motion?
Don't need a motion? You just have to, this is information. Excellent.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then, going on to the bag program, some of the decisions that we would like to have tonight are the bag and drawstring color, and the bag design. And with those two things, we can move ahead with placing the order because we've done a lot of research and everything in between so that we're pretty much ready to go. So, I think I showed you the bag size last time, but these are standard bag colors. If you wanted something that's most similar to Northampton High School color, it's kind of a, I'll just call it a dark blue.
With a gold drawstring.
With a, well, they'll call it yellow.
Yeah,
We'll call it gold.
we'll call it gold.
This is a very, apparently it's a very popular blue. This is a light blue. And I brought this, although this shows that this is much more transparent than we're thinking about. We're really going to be ordering an opaque bag. But this, you can have this blue, in opaque. It's just, how much pigment you put in.
And Jay, just for purposes to catch you up, Gary and sort of Gary Goebbels, some other members of the group, wanted to have high school colors of blue and gold for the colors of the bag, and that was sort of his proposal. So Karen has brought back this.
And
So that's
we
the
did
selection.
research whether we could have white ink on the bag or yellow ink or some light coloring. They actually, two companies I talked to had done that and were unsuccessful with the white. For some reason, the pigment or the ink just doesn't stick very well.
Huh.
I don't know what they're using, but it just doesn't, they don't have the chemistry down for it.
Okay.
And the yellow apparently doesn't show up. It's too transparent, and they tried double printing it, like, printing
Yeah.
it twice. And that's more expensive. And they said it's still, it might look good in the office, but when you get it outside, somehow the yellow just kind of disappears.
Fades.
It's just the way the sunlight interacts with it. So they said, as long as you get a blue where there's, not so dark that there's no contrast, you can, good. Anyway, the two designs that I'm thinking of right now is a city seal, and this waste reduction program might wrap around the seal more. It says, use this official City of Northampton bag to dispose of non-hazardous, non-recyclable solid waste only. Weight limit 40 pounds, obviously that would be different for each.
Can they print that seal without a lot of problems?
Yes, they
can.
can.
Oh,
Even with this, I saw some, East Long Meadow used their town seal, and it
Yeah.
had a lot of detail in it, and it actually came out really nice.
Karen, I'm wondering if we if we first discuss this
Okay.
and then go to the design factors on that. Is there any proposals for which of those blue colors you might prefer?
I just have one other question. Is there a possibility of a yellow bag with blue lettering?
Actually, yellow, see, we were looking at what other communities have.
Yeah.
Hadley has yellow, Solid Waste Solutions has yellow,
Yeah.
so we don't want to use yellow.
Okay, that's fine.
Um,
I mean, the Blue Devil thing is really, it's not that important. It's pretty important, but it's not that important.
well, I think it's that important.
So,
We could go
Actually, I
with the blue
think
bag
people
there,
actually associate
dark-
blue with
the
recycling.
the darker blue one.
so you,
With
so
a
Jim,
yellow-
you're proposing that you go with the darker blue, black print, and a yellow drawstring?
Yes.
They can
Does
do a
somebody-
yellow drawstring? Oh, that's huge.
So, well,
Right,
it's yellow gold,
yes.
it's yellow gold. Okay, so you're making a proposal for
Yeah.
that? Is there a second on that proposal?
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Should we put our hands in and go, aye?
What color is that exactly called? Do
On
you know?
the
So
Is
Karen,
it blue, 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 or blue?
It's a
Oh,
dark
we're
blue.
going with the
yeah,
blue.
dark, she was calling it dark blue. You wanna go on to the design now?
Yeah,
So,
so two
the
things.
city seal,
Blue Devil.
The current vehicle permit, has this little
tree,
tree on it, and it says Northampton Recycles, Northampton Recycles. So we were also thinking of something like that, which
Like the
is,
city seal
which
better.
is, you know, we've used this logo for the permit for about 8 years now.
Oh. So this is what's already on the dashboard, or on the
Yeah.
windshield, because everyone's.
And right now, it's like, that's the senior version. This would be
That's why I'm
the,
familiar with it.
that's the, see, they're reversed, they're always
Mm-hmm.
reversed, same color.
So, do I hear any proposals for which one of these designs is more appealing?
I make a motion that we go with the city seal.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So dark, let me just review, dark blue bag with black print using the city seal and yellow gold drawstrings. Cool, excellent.
And this, do you like the waste reduction
Yeah.
program? You know, it's,
Sure.
you know, rather than pay as you throw or any other thing. And just so you know, the small type says this bag is not a toy to avoid risk of injury, keep away from children.
Unless you're a Blue Devil.
So any other comments on that?
That looks great.
The packaging, after I talked to the retailers, they unanimously preferred the plastic sleeve. And then I went back to the bag manufacturers, and I don't know if you remember the plastic sleeve that I showed you the last time was like crinkly, non-stretchy plastic, would not be recyclable with plastic bags. They've agreed to use a stretchy plastic packaging, clear, so that you see the blue bag through it, and so we could label
Good.
it that the packaging is also recyclable.
Thank you
Oh,
for
that's
talking
great.
to the retailers.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing on the reverse of the handout that we put out was kind of a preliminary draft about a discount program, which was also a recommendation of this task force to develop a needs-based approach for
Okay.
people. So,
It's
but
not on
this,
the agenda for
that's right.
tonight.
So this is
So
for
we can do our
next
homework
time.
and maybe do it BJ, can we put that on the agenda for next week? Thank you. Thank you,
And I
Claire.
think that's it, unless you have any questions. Oh, by the way, if we put in an order now, we'll have the bags no later than June 20th available for retailers.
My
So-
birthday.
Excellent, excellent.
So we have our timeline and
Okay, good,
That's
thank
one
you,
beautiful
that's
bag.
wonderful, thank you. Don't try to put it over your head. Item number 4. Ned, are you concerned, you wanna?
I'm not concerned at all.
Okay, good.
I am.
Request for sign for the Forever Farmland Initiative. I don't think Lily or anyone else is here. Do you wanna, but we all have that in our packet.
No, they have a request to put a sign on Spring Street at the Bean Farm property to celebrate what they've done and create this farmland forever, as they're calling it. If there was time to go on a private property, it wouldn't be an issue at all, but the layout of Spring Street's quite wide, 66 feet wide. Because of that, from the Center Line Road, this sign would be 35 feet out into the field somewhere, that they're concerned about the visibility of it, since it's only an 18 by 24 sign.
Yeah, okay.
So we talked about making it kind of like a street sign per se, but post it within the city layout, closer to the roadway, so people could actually see it and read it from there.
There's no restriction from the building department.
I don't believe so, this small of a sign, but
Yeah.
we can check with that. But I did tell Lily that this is almost like a tourism sign.
Yeah.
That board would need approval until we have a policy in place.
I'd certainly check with me anyways.
Any other questions about this sign?
Is it, excuse me, is it just one location?
Just one location.
That was
Two.
discussed
I
too.
thought that was 2 also.
Two signs.
Maybe it was 2 signs,
either
the front and
side.
back?
Install 2 small signs along the roads that border Bean and Alley.
Remember?
She laid it out here.
And I'm lost for the second location.
No, it said FF and CC, and we didn't know where the CC was.
I still don't.
Right, I emailed it, she didn't
Right
respond.
here,
So we're approving FF.
That's right.
there's the,
I've seen that. I don't know what the CC is. We asked her what it is, she hasn't responded.
No.
oh,
Okay.
And
So
she only had a
FF is
picture
what
of
we're
a-
voting on.
She only had a FF sign
Okay.
on her
Oh,
picture.
She
all
didn't
right.
respond.
I do have a question, I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure it follows all city sign regulations.
yeah.
Okay.
Just, I know they have a specific, and actually they even have limits on how many signs you can have on a building or on a business, so that might be something, I don't know, that's a building permit or just a city sign
We'll
reg.
make sure that's in compliance with the ordinances.
Are there any other questions about this one?
Are they asking for an approval, or are we unable to make a decision tonight because we don't have the second location?
Do we need to, make a motion on this one? Okay.
Well,
And
there's,
then-
we may need to for the last, they're asking for a waiver on the trench permit fee, I think. Waiving the normal fees for any required permits, I'm assuming that's what
It
they're
would
asking.
require a trench permit, $250 fee.
Right.
City-owned property, city, no,
No. Grove Food Northampton owns the property.
they're a private entity.
Yes.
Okay.
There are 2 signs, but it sounds like one is on city layout and one is on the farm property, that's what.
We don't know what the other sign is because she didn't give any clear definition. She hasn't responded to an email.
It just says that one sign would be placed on the south side of Meadow Street near the intersection with Spring Street. One would be on the farm at 215 Spring Street. So I don't know if that means one's on the layout and one isn't, I don't know.
Because she only gave one picture of where it was going to be.
Yeah.
Both pictures only have Spring Street and not Meadow Street.
Oh. Okay.
I would like to move approval as long as they come in compliance with, city regulations.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Dave, I know you had your hand up.
Does this motion include waiver of the fee?
No,
No.
So first up, we're gonna consider approval of the sign. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Now the motion for waiver of the fee for the trade permit. Thank you, Gary, for catching that. Any discussion? Any
No
motions?
motion on the floor.
No motions. I'm not hearing any motions, so I guess we won't honor that request.
I'd love to, I just don't think it's a prudent thing for us to be doing it this time.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, we're moving on. Thank you for catching that, Gary.
Can I just ask a quick question? What is the fee
$250.
per sign?
Not about the
For-
sign, this is for the trench
Trench
permit.
permit.
Oh, trench
in order
permit.
to put it in.
Oh, I
And
see.
that anybody installing trenches needs to pay a trench permit.
It's a
fee.
trench permit fee. Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we ready to move on to number 5? Change order number 1 to contract 2702 for landfill operations to Solid Waste Solutions in the amount of $37,645.99.
Move approval.
Second.
The Division of Occupational Safety changed the wage rates on this contract this past year. And with it, this is a retro payment back to Solid Waste Solutions for payments that are owed to their workers at the landfill for these new wage rates that we had to comply with. Usually when we enter into a project, we have wage rates and they're set throughout the project. And they've been living with these wage rates since 2002. Last year, they made a ruling that we needed to update these, and hence this is a change order for retro pay to the operators of the landfill.
What did they change from?
State rates?
Their state wage rates, see if he has to break out here.
For different positions, the range, the
Yeah.
rates change.
Yeah, labor and driver.
Yeah, laborers, there's a bunch of different changes here, and new rate for a laborer is $31.54 an hour. The old rate was $27.65. Compactor operator was $36.72 an hour versus the old rate was $31.77. So they basically range anywhere from a low of $3.89 per hour to $10.24 an hour difference between the wage rates. And there were periods adjusted through June 30th, 2011. So that's what we're doing, is making up pay that the Solid Waste Solutions has to pay their workers, and we're obligated, I think, to pay that also.
I assume that that's within the guidelines for the living wage.
I would assume so.
Good one.
Yeah.
What time period does this adjustment cover?
This was, they were made effective August 2nd, 2010. So it does a pay period beginning July 29th, 2010, and calculated through June 30th, 2011.
Almost a year.
Yeah.
And it seems like a big number for the adjustment. That's what I'm struggling with. So as a percentage of the annual contract, maybe I don't have the right number in my head, but I'm thinking we're $400,000 a year.
It's over 500,000 for the
Over five.
contract now. So it's broken into two phases. There was two different adjustment periods. One was valued at $11,700. The other one was $17,800. And a third one, pay period of $3,168. So they're cumulative over a period of time as the rates adjusted.
And those three numbers add up to 37,000?
They do. 3,168. Oh, plus they had labor burden at 15% and workers' comp at 7.68%, Medicare at 1.45%, Social Security at 6.2%,
Yeah.
and a zero administration cost.
They had a break on that administration
I
cost.
can see.
We worked for a while with Solid Waste Solutions. David Wallace spent a lot of time going through the numbers and checking them.
All right,
Fine.
any more discussion on the wage rate changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Ned, I have another opportunity to ask you if you want to talk about private waste, since you'll want to be leaving at 6:30.
Basically, the mayor's asked that I resolve the private way issues before snow flies next season. So I've started working with the city solicitor Elaine Reel on this issue as to how we may or may not accept private ways in the future for next plowing season. Stems about because of, if you look at item number 14, we had an issue this year down in Edward Square, which is a private way. And they realized that the police could not ticket and tow on a private way, and I couldn't get the plows in there to plow the road out that we have historically plowed. So with that, Edward Square is actually looking for a street acceptance now, so that doesn't become an issue going forward in the future. But real quickly, if that's what you want to do, is the board to resolve these private way issues before the winter of 2011.
And before she leaves.
No, she didn't say that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So, so that's information.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I can move on to number 6. Change order number 1 to contract number 30111 for the old Wilson Road water main construction to John Concalves and Sons in the amount of $12,680.
Move approval.
Second.
This was an emergency contract, a change order that we did. The work has been completed at this point. We had a stormwater washout on Hatfield Street, just below Cotton's facility, which is just off the Bridge Road. We had a manhole that was precariously hanging in the air. The pipes leading from that storm system had all washed out and exposed a gas main down below in the trench. So we secured an emergency permit from the Conservation Commission and got Mr. Gonzalez to do this work in a matter of a day or so, take care of the washout.
Because he was in the midst of working on the old
Wilson Road, we
so
had a
it just
project, and typically when we go out for an emergency contract like this, we really get stuck with some big bills this way. And this is pretty reasonable, $12,680 to do the work.
And took care of the problem.
It did.
Any comments or questions about this?
Just a question, Matt, how many of these are we allowed to do with a contractor that's in the area?
The rule of thumb is 25% increase of the original contract price. This is a $390,000 contract.
As long as we don't exceed that, we can do multiple projects.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 7, contract for Phase 2 engineering evaluation and alternative analysis for the Middle Roberts and Lower Roberts Meadow Reservoir Dam to GZAG Environmental Incorporated in the amount of $151,800.
Move approval.
Second. This is a contract for 2 different studies, one for a Phase 2 study at the Middle Roberts Dam and one for a Phase 2 study at the Lower Roberts Dam. The Middle Roberts contract or value for that task is $81,100. The Lower Roberts Dam and the Sandy Beach Dam, the value of that task is $70,700. And basically what this is field investigations and an analysis and several tasks related to looking at the safety of each of these dams. We have a contract with GZA to do Phase 2 evaluations for all of our water supply dams. While they're doing all our dam work, they've identified deficiencies at these 2 locations. So we've asked them to do a more thorough assessment of each dam, and the work includes things like site reconnaissance, outlet inspection, topographic mapping, wetlands delineation, subsurface explorations, hydraulic analysis, seepage and stability analysis, and alternatives analysis, and cost estimates for the alternatives to repair each dam, and the preparation of an operation maintenance manual, which is a regulatory requirement that be done. So.
And in my reading, it seems like this was really just in preparation for anything related to breaching, not doing any actual
breaching work.
We don't have any plans to breach either one of these particular dams. We think they're in reasonably good shape. We've identified some deficiencies with them in order to maintain the dams and related infrastructure, good working water. They need to go through and do a complete assessment that compares the current state of the dam with the regulatory requirements for safety.
After we study both of these dams, what do you see coming from that? Do you see deficiencies up there that we may have to address at a much larger cost? Or are the dams, you figure, in good enough shape so that minor things may be done?
It's hard to say until this work is done. It seems to be a common theme that spillway capacities for old dams are inadequate. And when the engineers run calculations on the spillway capacity of most dams, it seems like dams that were built, when these ones were built from this era, the spillways aren't adequate to manage the design storm. And that means you may need to build an auxiliary spillway or an emergency spillway. So there may be work like that. There may be other masonry type work and repair work that needs to be done. But we're not expecting huge amounts of work from these, but until the study is done, we won't know.
In here it says that this job will be completed in a time frame that's acceptable to the city. What's acceptable to the city? What kind of a time frame are we looking at?
We're hoping to have these done within a year.
Are there any grant monies that we're gonna be using for this?
We haven't identified any, or any kind of state revolving funds or anything of that nature. It's all coming out of the enterprise fund.
Dave?
So it's the water enterprise.
That's correct.
And Jay?
Just a question, what's the current status of the dams rating by the Department of,
They're in fair
They are
condition.
fair.
They're high hazard dams in fair condition.
thank you.
So it's broken out that 81,000 is the middle dam and the lower dam is a $70,000 job.
I was wondering if there was gonna be any holding off on working on the lower Roberts Dam, given the Masante Beach use this summer.
I think that's a good question. I think it's something we need to think about if we're gonna be doing work. To make sure that it's done at a time that's not inconvenient for people that are using the facilities there. So it's a good point. Maybe we'll try to get out and do the field work right now while it's still cold and nobody's out there. Might make sense to expedite that.
That'd be great.
Otherwise, we may end up having to wait. But yeah, it's a very good point.
Okay.
Is the Office of Dam Safety putting a schedule to this or timeframe?
They're not.
So this just falls in between every other year inspection?
We think that they may, we think that these may fall into a situation where the Office of Dam Safety will put them on a schedule. We realize that we need to do it. The phase 2 really is, doing the study is really the inexpensive part.
Right.
Which is why we want to stay a little bit ahead of the curve.
Right, so, but every 2 years, we have to submit something to the state saying the dams have been inspected. So the phase 2 could actually serve as that semi-annual, or whatever it's called, every other
Yeah.
inspection.
Yeah, I mean, GZA is doing so much work for us that, a lot of these dam inspections are done, they just do them when they're in town, for other things.
Right.
So it ends up saving some money on those follow-up inspections.
Yeah.
But you're right, the phase 2 could be considered the phase 1 inspection.
Right.
Any more questions on this item? No. How about our contract experts? Do they have any comments or?
I looked it over and discussed it with Jim, and I'm comfortable with it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Number 8, Community Development Block Grant Contract for Pond Street Sidewalk Improvements between the City of Northampton Community Economic Development Office and the Department of Public Works in the amount of $92,000.
Move approval?
Second.
Second.
We approached CDBG this year to help us with Con Street since it was an eligible area. They've given us $92,000 to do curbing and sidewalks down there as part of the project. So it's offsetting about 12% of the project or so, 13% of the project. The project is almost a $900,000 project for doing all this resurfacing, new sidewalks and curbing. So this was a real win-win for us to get this money.
And what is the time period for this?
It's out to bid as we speak, and construction should be completed by late October, early November.
Same contractor, sidewalks?
Oh, same contractor to do the work, yes.
And what's the time that it would take to do the work?
Probably an order of 4 months, 4.5 months.
And will the road have to be closed during that time?
There'll be traffic, through traffic, but I think the delays will be there, people will find alternate routes.
Rationing.
What is the length, so does it start at the convenience store and go all the way to Fleet 5?
Actually, it starts about 100 feet down, 150 feet down from the convenience store. There is some mill and an overlay that will go back towards the convenience store, but the full depth reclamation of the roadway will happen at that point, and it goes down to the state layout line down by the hotel in the new bank. And I do need to excuse myself.
Okay, enjoy your concert.
Apparently I do,
Good.
except for that.
You okay with that? No.
No.
Okay.
That contract doesn't include a roundabout.
No.
Thank you.
Did you want
Want
us?
one?
Well,
Shall we delay something else?
Jim asked that I go through this very quickly.
Okay.
Basically, I was asked to do a presentation to the board, which I don't have time to now, but what I did was, I will email you the presentation we did to City Council and Finance Committee, so you see the full package. And basically, what it is that you'll see that there's a phase 1 here, and then there's a phase 2 on the other side, and then you have this pricing structure. And what it does is says that for $7.4 million, you'll get the vehicle maintenance, fuel depot, and the gantry. For the addition of the admin storage and workshops, it's $12.2 million. And then if we add in the vehicle storage shed, small, $16.6 million, that adds up to phase 1. You can see here what phase 1 is basically you have admin building, nothing happens to, the existing barn stay, they use for vehicle storage. There's new workshops for mechanics here. There's central services, water department, sewer drain, streets, all combined in this workspace here. And a storage building for vehicles coming up from the water department, and all the trucks that are currently stored outside we put here. This would be dedicated to large vehicles and no workspaces in here. Phase 2 in the gantry system, the fuel and depot. Phase 2 would be the removal of the barn itself. Also, additional space program for that equipment that's being displaced. And basically addition to the admin building to house 4 additional engineers that are housed in another place right now, and a new boardroom with additional space. More of a community room also that other groups could use also. So this is the bottom one, which is $26.1 million, which includes everything, which the city cannot afford at this point. And that's why we've gone through capital improvements. It's made the tier 1 recommendations that we should do something up here. It's a matter of what money is available. And so we're looking at this phase 1, which is the $16.6 million project. And if you have further questions, I'd be more than happy to do a more in-depth presentation at the next meeting if you like, or either of you individually.
And you're going to email us that.
I will email it tomorrow morning to you.
Thank you.
All set?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I do have one quick question. Can somebody explain gantry to me? Gantry.
Oh, crane.
Oh, crane. Okay.
Crane system.
Crane system, thank you. Okay, back to our discussion on the Con Street improvements. So what we talked about so far is that it would start at 150 feet, from the, south or east of the convenience store, heading down to the hotel. We're getting, $92,000 from CDBG for, to help with the curbings and the sidewalk. And we hope it's going out to bid now. Be done by October, but if you go back 4 months, it will be starting hopefully the 1st of July. Gary?
Is there a granite curb, or is this gonna be still berm?
I don't believe it's granite curb.
Yeah, I think it's berm now.
And 150 feet, can you tell approximately, like, there's a roundhouse and there's also Paradise Coffees, where in about, would it start north of that, or?
I don't know.
I'll do the other chair.
It's the broken up pavement, right, that's being replaced.
Well, Ned said they were gonna mill and overlay back a certain distance,
Yeah.
but the project starts 150 feet beyond,
150 feet is really too far.
not really, not when you get outside and
Lay it
start
out
looking
on the
around.
ground.
Yeah, it's surprisingly short.
I'm sorry, Ned's been working more with the engineering staff.
It was really just a curiosity question. It sounds like they're gonna do the whole thing. That's my opinion. Sounds like a great project to me.
Any other, yeah? What?
No.
No, not at all. I was just summarizing because the motion's on the table. Any more questions or discussion on this?
Oh, all we're gonna do, if we vote on this, is to vote to accept the grant.
Yes.
If we don't vote to accept it, does that mean we wouldn't get it?
That's what it means.
Okay, let's take the,
I know how I'm voting.
I mean, it's kind of funny. We're not spending money, we're voting to accept money. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Number 9, change order number 1 to contract number 267-11 to Schultz Construction in the amount of nothing.
Move approval. I like it when things don't cost
That's a new agenda, right?
This is a change.
Yes. You need to see a copy of it? There's one right there for you.
This is a change order with Schultz Construction, who is the contractor on the Bradford Street pump station project. And the contract had stipulated certain insurance requirements that the contractor needed to provide with the city listed as the insured. And what's happened is, the city does not own the property that the pump station is, where the pump station is located. So we needed to get a construction access permit from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, who owns that parcel. And part of the access permit required that they be listed as insured on the insurance certificates for the project. So all this change order does is it directs the contractor to list DCRs and additional insured on the insurance requirements for the contract. The contractor said that there would be no price increase to do this, but we did need to modify the legal language of the contract in order to accomplish what we need to do.
Did they also modify to satisfy the concerns that Mike had about how the city was reimbursed? It was like a blanket contract, is this the same one?
I don't think so. I
No.
think that was SCA's contractors to
Okay.
do the comprehensive wastewater
Okay.
management plan.
Yeah, all right.
Is there any more discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 10, contract for polymer for the wastewater treatment plant to Ashland Hercules Water Technologies in the amount of not to exceed $24,999. Move approval.
Second.
Second.
This is a contract for polymer that we use at the wastewater treatment plant. It's used for assisting in the dewatering of the wastewater treatment plant sludges. We did receive 4 bids on this. This was the 3rd low bid that we accepted. And apparently, different polymers from different manufacturers have different dewatering characteristics. Jim can probably tell you more than I can. But the RFP allows the city to test the products that are bid to determine which one is the most cost-effective polymer to use. So apparently the wastewater treatment plant staff have been running test runs in the belt filter press using the low bid materials and determined that this Ashland Hercules Water Technologies polymer is the best, most cost-effective product for us in terms of its ability to dewater sludge. And I don't know if Jim wants to add anything.
No, you're exactly right. They test every product that's bid, and then they take the one that does the best job at the lowest price. And this happened to be the 2nd low bid.
Any discussion? More discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 11 is a discussion of below street grade responsibilities, and that's Terry's item, so we thought that we would table it. Do we need a motion to table it?
I move we table that till next meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Tourism signs, number 12.
I had asked BJ to put this on the board's agenda. The department has received multiple requests from various, a variety of entities interested in putting up tourism signs. A lot of the calls are fielded by other folks in the engineering division, and I don't have a list of people that have inquired, but we've told a number of parties that, the board is working on a policy related to tourism signs, and but the calls keep coming, and it's been a while since the board subcommittee has met on tourism sign policy, so I just wanted to raise the issue that we need to start working on this and finalize a policy if that's in fact what we want to do.
Jim, do you remember who's on that committee?
Susan DiMaria.
We have that meeting.
It hasn't been for a while.
Terry was on it.
Because he hangs his head every time.
So maybe when Terry gets back, we can
Okay,
have
so we'll defer that one too.
You know, our policies are regulated by city layout and by the building department. It ought to be easy to post something together.
Right, but we need to have another volunteer.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just put everybody on report that maybe another volunteer might be nice to have.
I don't mind working on it.
Okay.
I think it's a matter of just pulling things together.
Okay, so maybe if we have it on the next agenda,
There's actually a draft, some progress draft of a policy that Laura Hanson was the staff engineer assigned to that particular committee, and she'd indicated that there was some progress had been made, but it was a little while ago and needs additional work. So.
do you think it would be helpful if while we're reading the needs-based discount, we also read the tourism sign report? Or do you think we should wait on that?
It might be good to wait.
Okay.
I don't want to, I wasn't involved in it, and Terry probably knows a lot more than I
Okay,
do.
all right. Evidently, there's a claims committee. Do we want to set a date for that?
When's the next time we're meeting?
We're meeting on the
May 11th?
May 11th.
I suggest we do it at 5 or
5 o'clock.
5:15, whatever
Well-
makes sense. Each other, know what the claim is there.
It's, we had a backup of sewage at the drive-up window at the Florence Savings Bank. That little separate building there, the whole thing flooded.
Now, the only concern I have about your suggestion would be the next item, which is the public hearing for the petition of a street acceptance at Edwards Square.
Ned said that didn't have to be done at the next meeting. We
Okay.
could set that for the meeting
Okay.
after that, there was no urgency
Okay.
to that,
Okay.
so
Alright.
he said that was, we could do it right away.
So we could do this on May 11th?
Yep, that's fine with me.
At 5?
5 o'clock, or 5:15.
5:15?
5:15.
He mentioned that he wanted to take longer for claims, not 15 minutes.
Okay, so at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Do we know if Terry's back next time?
I don't know, but I don't, he doesn't usually take 2 off in a row.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we defer setting the date for the public hearing on the, or shall we go ahead and set the date for that?
We could set it for the meeting after, next time. If we want.
May 21st.
Do we need to have, my question on this one was just, do we need to have more information from Private Way, Private Waves report before we have that public hearing?
Sounds like
Yeah, why don't
So-
Any thoughts from staff on that?
Why not? Wait.
Okay, so we'll defer that
Yeah.
decision.
we'll
So you
set-
wanna
I'll
hold
put
off
this on.
scheduling it?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll hold off scheduling it until we have,
Yeah,
Public.
yeah.
Just don't lose it, that's all.
right. All right, and I guess we just had the DPW facility update.
Wasn't that what I did?
Jim, do
That
you
is
have?
what Ned did.
Yeah, that is what Ned, yeah. Jim, do you have anything for the, board?
No, thank you.
Nothing, thank you.
Just one quick thing. At one of the previous meetings, I had mentioned that the city was eligible for an upcoming training seminar being put on by the EPA entitled Effective Utility Management, and this was being offered to utilities that received stimulus funding for construction, so we did receive stimulus funding for the well construction project. And I had mentioned this as being, I think it's training that would be held here within the city, specific to the city. And I received a date, a tentative date of June 20th, which is when folks
Jim's
from,
birthday.
which is when folks from EPA and their engineers would be here to work with us to review information on effective utility management. So board members are welcome to attend that if you're so inclined. It's, I believe it's a Monday. I don't have the exact date or agenda yet, but when I do, I can forward it to everybody and let you know. And if anybody is able to attend, I think it would be great.
Okay.
Any idea what time that would run?
You know, my guess is that it would be, probably start at like 9 in the morning, and I'm not sure if it's a full day or not. The information's been a little coming out if it's in starts from EPA.
Okay.
So,
I was just gonna see what PJ had.
Oh.
PJ, you have anything? MJ?
Only that, I had called BJ and asked her for a copy of the farm stuff, the raw food thing,
Yes.
about the signage.
Yes.
In my packet that she made for me, there was a location of the 2 signs.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
thing with mine, but it does say something about Meadow Street. And Ned pointed out Meadow Street is not in this plan.
All right.
Well, and he did send her an email to request, but he didn't hear back from her, so we may have to,
I hadn't seen
But
that in my PDF.
we might revisit this.
The original one didn't have that second sign mark.
All right.
Yeah.
The one that he showed,
Right.
he had given me,
Right.
didn't have that.
Alright, so we haven't done anything that we can't add on to it,
Just,
but
there's
that's a good
additional
point.
information that I wasn't aware of, so I was just
So
writing
you
it
look
through
at
here.
it, yeah. So that's
I'm
all,
good.
okay. You with it?
No.
Also,
make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All right.
You didn't ask Rose,
All
she had
right.
anything.
No. I still didn't beat David's.
You did a good job
But I
though.
think you brought it in
I'll
under
tell
the,
you, like,
water
did.
tank.
Oh,
good.
Really tell me
His
how-
son
Did you add it up? I didn't.
I did at one point, I got up to 90
No,
minutes and there was
yeah.
still more in
I know.
under 90, so this is